Hey everyone, Jackie K here. Got a little one-off special for today's stream. It's not that I'm not gonna play Golden Sun again eventually, but for right now, it might. If I wait until I'm fully ready to do a full playthrough, it might be a little bit. Naturally, I think I should have just let it hang down the opening scene there while I was talking, because it is a bit of a good intro. You know, why not? Kind of just all over the place today, as is anyway, so what's one more reset? So, this is a classic game from wow, I guess it would be childhood at this point. 2001 does not feel like that long ago, but I guess it is almost 20 years. In fact, the game's anniversary is coming up tomorrow as I'm streaming this. That's a big reason why I wanted to do this stream. If nothing else, I wanted to at least just, for the anniversary of Golden Sun, showcase what Golden Sun is, because I haven't done a proper playthrough of this game in at least half a decade. That's a number for 10, right? It's probably like been... It wasn't one of the first LPs I did, but at this point, doing game commentaries for over 10 years now, it's probably like at least 5 or 6 years ago. And a lot has changed about the way I do commentary, so replaying this game was an inevitability. But with all the other projects that got going on, that might still be a little bit. So I figured at least starting this up wouldn't be a bad thing in of itself. So here's the game plan I got in mind. Again, first of all, I'm going to capitalize on the fact that the Game Boy player has a bit of a timer. And we'll start a new adventure, go about 35 minutes in. It's an RPG, so I can't promise we're going to get too far. But we can see how deep we go from there, because I want to spend half of the stream actually starting up a new adventure and showing you the game's plot from beginning to how far we get, and then go into battle mode to better showcase the battle mechanics once you have like more Jin, which we'll hopefully get into later, and other things that really show off the things that I personally feel make Golden Sun stand out from the other JRPGs that are out there. Now, I'm stuck standing in the stream instead of just going right into things because I wanted to showcase a little Easter egg. This is a Game Boy Advance game, mind you, so if you press select on that 3 times, you actually get to name other party members besides the main character. And there's also a code that lets you do after the 3 select to name even more characters, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's a bit of a clumsy, so the main party will do. So, well, let's just hop right into it. Honestly, like, it's kind of weird looking back on it, because this is a game that I got in my childhood. 20 years ago, I got it for Christmas, so I probably would have been about 10 at the time. Give or take a few years. And this is actually a pretty dark opening for a children's RPG. As we'll see going through here, we're not even like getting introduced to the peaceful town being peaceful at all. Immediately, it's a dark, stormy night, and there's something very, very wrong going on. If your mother's pretty much telling you as a kid, don't worry about possessions, items can be replaced, a life can't. Setting a dark tone right pretty early on. I can promise you that it doesn't stay that way, thankfully. But it does at least, like, draw you in early on. Though, it makes me wonder if I'd actually be able to play this game if I was introduced to it as an adult. Not for any particular reason of the game's overall quality, but just a matter of factors of things that have changed in my life in general. A big one's just, like, I don't know if there's a more proper term for it, but I consider myself a drama-phobic, in the sense where, like, I get incredibly uncomfortable when there's, well, drama. Any major source of intensity even in an effectual medium. A lot of big reason why I can't really get into too many television shows, despite how well proclaimed they may be. So we were supposed to go south. Unfortunately, we can't go south. So that's kind of a problem in itself. Oh, I forgot that this particular scene came up like that. Well, this guy was able to go south that way. I'm sure we'll be able to too. So yeah, the game wants you to go a pretty particular way. Everyone's evacuated, so there isn't really like irony of picking that up now. There isn't really too much we can do here, except press forward. Now, let's see what's up. Save these things. Okay, bye. You're not just gonna leave me here, are you? Well, do you want to help or not? If a rock hits me now, I'll lose both my chest and my life. You're right, I should just ditch my stuff. Let's get out of here. Okay, I think that's the first time we've seen that dialogue. Because I'll admit, I just ran by Garrett there earlier on. And he just, like, drops everything and says, "Let me join you." And usually I go for a whole scene where I actually talk to him all the way through. I completely forgot that there was a middle option like that there. So yeah, this giant butt rock is the entire... I kind of worded that better. This giant rock is what's causing the trash everyone is trying to run away from. And we're in an unfortunate situation of being nowhere far enough away from the rock. But thankfully these people with magical power seem to be stalling for enough time for us to get away. So let's make use of it. It can never be easy, can it? I mean, at least you can't really get lost, because there's plenty of boulders to keep this otherwise fairly open village fairly one-sided. Hey dude. Actually... Can I save? Because I would feel bad doing this and not resetting. But I think there's something that you can actually showcase. This rock side destroyed monsters everywhere. I'm hurting pretty badly. You think I'll die? I don't know, man. I knew it. It's it for me. Save yourself. Well, it's not as graphic as I remember. But honestly, for as guilty as Golden Sun is of the "now you must" trope and other things like that, this scene actually changes depending on how you interact with him. It's a little less graphic than I remember, because I definitely remember him actually, like, vanishing into dust. But if you do say no to him, it turns out he's not that bad off. It's just the power of belief and all that. So maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Maybe he makes it out okay. But yeah, I keep forgetting that literally the first enemy of Golden Sun is just a marrow with a fork. I'm sorry. This is actually a vermin, but my lord. The large belly and blue round body make it way too hard not to unsee the marrow within the vermin. Oh. I was gonna say, we finally got the music. Or at least I'm just now noticing it, but that definitely doesn't seem to be the case. Now, as you may see, we don't really get any synergy. That's kind of why I think, like, the sequel kind of gets the prologue a little bit quicker, a little bit more exciting from a gameplay standpoint, because right now, we're being introduced to monsters and all that, but all we can really do is attack and defend, If for some reason we were to get a little too wounded, I suppose we can heal with the herbs as well. But it's kind of like, the fights don't really matter at this point because it's all so basic. But I suppose if you've never played an RPG before, this would be one way to get into it. And it's not like I've never played an RPG before, but up to this point in my childhood, the most RPGs I've really played were Pokemon. This is my first, like, Final Fantasy-like RPG. Because literally, like, the monster catching games, specifically Pokemon, were the only thing I were to play at this point. And on the tangent of this being one of the more dark openings of any video game that I've actually played, drowning children! No worries, he's fine. But, like, it really does set a tone of just urgency, how helpless everyone is. And I kind of thought there was more I wanted to get into it, but I also don't want to jump the gun. Yes, ma'am. We're looking for anyone with any energy left, right? What? I'm sure she'll do just fine. Yeah, more or less. Well, why not? Jenna's going to the south. Go join her. Bite my lip, not get too silly. Can't remember last time I actually talked to at least NPCs here. Enough energy. I don't know if they have any. That being said, I guess like nothing else, we got help to go find, so we might as well go find it. And monsters are still around. I guess I could at least see how easy it is to run. Well, that's good. I was able to spare at least one marrow throughout this adventure. Yeah, I should just be like trying to rush through because this prologue goes on for long as is, but it's also been so long since I played this game from the very beginning that I'm kind of curious if there's anything I might have overlooked. Can you be a little more specific, little kid? No? Okay. Go eat elders. Boulders too heavy for them to hold much longer. Running down here. Everyone's coming in for getting more help and all. Indeed it is. That's pretty perfect timing. I just think this is a cute scene. See? Isn't that impressive? So, I guess... sorry, the tiredness is kind of getting to me a bit. But I guess a bit of rundown. Everyone in this village has magic-like abilities called synergy. We'll get more into what that's like eventually. Gut tells me that we shouldn't stop. We should keep going before it's too late. Can anyone help? How do you do? Got someone right here, ready and willing right here. But yeah. The synergy will come into play a bit later on. Oh. Not sure if I like the sound of that in particular. There's just something about the still frames of this not being animated. I'm sure it like saves some development time, but it also really creates like a really tense feel and just bam, he's gone. Oh, I'll go. It's no use, I can't move. Please get help. Roller just came from him. Everyone on that pier just gone. I guess there's not really much else we can do but try to get help at the very least. Pretty bold things to say at 10. Like, I forget how old the protagonists are here, because I think there's like a spoilers, a 4-year flashback. And I'm sure these very colorful characters just monologuing out loud to themselves aren't gonna be important to the plot at all, in the slightest. Soul Seiken, challenging, getting in. I'm sure it's all just random gibberish that will have nothing. Freaking Garrett. Why? It's nice you want help, but you're right at the worst times. No, we're just passing through, I swear. I already forgot 90% of the stuff you were saying. No need, madame. I already forgot it. I don't need the assistance. So, yay! Welcome to RPG Trope 2542. The Unwinnable Fight. At least we're definitely not supposed to win this fight. There you go. We can't do anything. So yeah, like I was about to say, there's like a 4 or 5 year flashback, or 3 year flash forward. So considering I think like all the protagonists are 13, because I'm pretty sure everyone's around like it's definitely around the 15 to 18 or 15 to 17 range, according to the game at the very least. But I mean, hey. Minus the fact that, like, people died, it's a much more up, cheery, and peaceful town now. We got a really good feel of what the village is like on a normal day. I mean, to be fair, this is typically how an RPG would start, but I do admit, like, having that opening scene with the dark tone kind of... it helps set the mood and the stakes for later on in the adventure. Happening to... yeah, this kind of makes me feel a little awkward, because like a little bit of, I don't really notice it because it happened so early on in the game, but there's like a little bit of a liar reveal going on here, because I don't think anyone ever gets a chance to let Jen know how the rest of the party tried to go get help and then never really got out all the way. Garrett just goes, oh, never mind. And I think it's a bit of a shame. But again, like, at least, like, in the end, it doesn't matter too much. And not to, like, put pressure in parts, because RPG, there's a lot of story to take in pretty early on in general. How long have we been going? Okay, we're not like it's only like 15 minutes in. It just feels a little slower because, like I said, I don't exactly take dark themes in the best. At least, definitely not as well as I used to. I do like what's coming up here. It's yet interesting to help, like, reset the mood from the whole opening schematic there. Just got a couple more patches to put in, and the roof will be complete. It only took like 3 freaking years to actually go through. But alas, it is what it is. Pardon me, I kinda just need a minute and a half here. No, I mean, just have some bots in the chat, and gonna take care. Just trying to multitask and take care of them while I'm going through the story here. One down, one to go. There we go. All the robots have gone bye-bye. In hindsight, I kind of wish I actually brought some water with me, so maybe I'll like pause it after going through here. I feel like I might be able to talk a little bit better afterwards. Yeah, it's almost 17. Yeah, protectors are pretty young from what I remember. Hello. Good morning. Sorry, everything happens a lot later than I thought it would, so I'm like setting up for a punchline and just waiting and waiting and waiting. Killing the joke because I'm waiting a little too long with the punchline and all. So, long story short, this village is actually home to what, or at least one of the founding places of alchemy, which is the source of the synergy that these people have. As they just said, greatest source. So, Great has been teaching the kids how to use synergy, and as part of a field trip, they're gonna go into Mount Elp to study the mother of all synergy a little bit closer. Well, that's what you want. I guess nothing will. Ah! That's right at the spot that I patch, isn't it? Yep. Oh, that was exciting. I'm sorry I scared you like that. Hope you like laughing at Garrett, cause that's his stick. He's a... wait for it. Comic relief, at best. Stubborn, annoying bloke at worst. Like, I'll be honest, he's probably is technically my least favorite character of the main party, but he's not terrible. He's just like, kind of like, especially growing up, a little conflict of my particular taste with a character. Like, the type of things that kind of get me annoyed about people, even while growing up, are things that Garrett has. Stupidity, stubbornness, and not knowing their manners. But to be fair, like, I've grown to appreciate him as I got older, if only because, like, the game's written well around him. at the very least. Oh, hello, sprite limitations. I didn't know today was Mom on my head day. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, nah. I can't replicate it now. Well, that's fine. I mean, I guess that's just a sign that the game would be doing its job. As our Garrett. Now, I guess like the big thing like that makes me think that this prologue goes on for so long is just the factor that apparently Elephant Alchemy. Yeah, I guess that's another thing that like guess is technically easy to overlook with the plot. Yeah, don't mind me, like, this isn't one of those RPGs that do encourage you to, like, check out everything and interact with every object, because you never know what you'll find in the mix. What I've been trying to say, though, is... I'm realizing now that the reason the prologue feels so long to me is partly because it's just so easy to get caught up in the exploration. You can just beat right to Kraden's place, and then right over to Mount Elf. But there is this whole entire town to explore. And you do learn a lot about the world of the game, if you do take the time to talk to all the NPCs. And I think that's like a part of the charm of Golden Sun, especially later on in the game, where I don't want to jump too ahead and spoil anything, but also the best roadblock in all of RPGs. There are some puppies playing over there. We should let them be. Because who has the heart to disrupt a bunch of puppies? Ah, well. Yeah, if no one doesn't mind too much... Oh, that's just, even all these years later, that's still a bit of a wreck. The force of impact must have knocked it off its hinges. You know, I'm just realizing, I wonder if that's the same guy that tried to help us 3 years ago. Don't get too close to the river. I mean, that's all he says. There's no way to know for sure, but I mean, I guess there's room for interpretation with that. Like, what if he's the same guy? He's just still traumatized by the fact that everyone drowned and he wasn't able to do anything about it. I'm definitely going to explore a little bit more. No, I kind of wish that... I wish we could mine... almost spoiled too much going ahead. So I guess that's Jenna's place. Never really noticed they had one. Though I guess it would make sense that they would want to move it, assuming that was their place. Again, like, we're going the opposite way of Kraden's place, but there's something that I overlook in most of my playthroughs. Like, I don't even remember if I showcased it back when I LP'd this game also long ago, but I think we do want to check out the inn before heading forward. You lost your father, Jen lost her family, it was terrible. But I think it just leads to a bit of foreshadowing. I can't believe they actually let us stay in our own place. 2 of those 3 guests have been staying with us, going out. Hey, boy. Do you have business with me? Not in particular I can think of. So just you stop wasting my time. But wasting your time is my business! That's too bad because I have no business with you, be off. What a rude individual. Now, because I'm clearly not going to get more talkative over time, I think I'm going to take a little break right about here. I know the stream isn't going on too long, but I definitely need to have water. I definitely forgot to get before the stream started, and now is probably a good time as any to actually go look into that. So, BR. And where is Beckus will ever get? Oh, shame they fought ahead. Am I showing you my new ability? No. Well, here's a little sample for you. Dude, you're literally shaking the ground. Takes hard work to reach this level of mastery. And you're gonna just shake the whole world again. Stop that, you're gonna break the entire freaking planet. Just another quiet, peaceful day. Crane had visitors when I dropped by his place in the morning. I wonder what became of them. Did the travelers that stopped by today go to meet the mayor? Not that I know of. It's very polite to visit the mayor when coming to a new town. Just shameful not to do that. To be fair, I really have no idea. And I guess, like, we could technically stock up and get equipment and all that while we're here. Not sure we'll actually need it, but just while we're here. Just making sure. I mean, that took over our money. It's a little bit of a shame that we weren't able to give Jenna anything. It's kind of weird. I don't think I ever actually knew that you could actually go to the shop this early. But it is a thing, apparently. Though, like, just buying those 2 bra stores kind of took up all of our equipment, and we weren't really able to get anything for Jenna. But I'm sure it's fine. A little spoiler alert, but Jen becomes one of my favorite characters in the second game. Not to say that she isn't cool in this game, she just becomes... The true potential of her power really shines in Lost Age and beyond. No, I forgot what I was going to get in that point. I just, like, know I can get kind of annoying with just how cool she is, so I just... honestly, a lot of my pausing's been me trying to stop myself from just being too idealistic over the whole thing. I mean, that's where we need to go for Kraden's. It's been a hot minute, I forget. Do we actually have to go to the mayor's place? Which, I almost forget is Garrett's family sometimes. Well, we wouldn't be fooling around if we could actually get to Kraden and actually do all that. At the very least, visitors should introduce themselves to the mayor. Seems to be an appalling group that won't even do that. I heard Kraden and guess again, he's pretty popular for a sage. What are you doing? Like, you got a portrait and everything, but I know we won't see you ever again. I think, actually, because those were his grandparents, I think that was like that's his actual father. Oh, almost forgot about this scene. Carrie, you make me so mad sometimes. Your trains don't crush my flowers. You're in for it tonight. Just wait and see. Oh, you mean the flowers aren't just decoration? Oops. Hopefully she doesn't notice that. Maybe we can at least fix the situation we got ourselves in. We got this synergy over the past 3 years. Might as well put it to use. I don't think it matters. I think the damage has already been done. Yeah, I mean, the flowers look perfectly fine to me, but according to her, the damage has been done. Nah, he needs every single handicap he can get to actually be competent. Well, so there's Soul Sakem. I guess if we can't get to Crane, we might as well go up there ourselves, so... You're not planning on sneaking up to Mount Elf, are you? I mean, I didn't think of sneaking. We were planning on having a field trip there today. Well, I guess we gotta go find Kraden and get permission from him. So, actually, I don't know if I ever actually tried to go all the way up there on my own. I'm sure there's like some sort of dialogue that stops it, but we just gotta very casually Metal Gear past him. Oh, of course Jenna would be the one to stop us. I mean, cause why else? Who else would do it? Definitely not Garrett. Now, just for... I was just... Nope, I was just walking back. I didn't know to sneak up the Mount Elf, I kinda already did, so... That purity is... and you risk... Take that purity and risk... There we go. Yeah. You must be going to see Kraden. Finally, we're going the right way. I recognize that enemy villain portrait. Oh dear, 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 dear. The flashbacks, the PTSD. Come on. Of course, you want to use things, using frickin' everyone. It's been 3 freaking years. Why do we keep walking on these people in the wrong place at the wrong time? What are we doing? Well, apparently everyone is... No, 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 no. Guess I should take you at your word. Excuse me. Kraden's engagement was with you. Yes? To meet him now? Yeah, I mean, we had the whole day planned around it. If you're... Actually, I just realized the mistake of talking up to the people that freaking murdered our face like 3 freaking years ago. Apparently everyone is silly, or apparently everyone is dumb, just not freaking remembering anything that happened. Or maybe I'm overthinking and everyone does remember, but they're just playing it off. Whatever the case, it works to our advantage at the very least. Did you hear it from those awful growls on the other side of the fence? Maybe I should have just played along and not spook out that kid. Oh well. Things even the elders don't know. So apparently that mysterious duo had quite a conversation with Kraden already. So, what's up, dude? Yeah, what do they want? Care shedding light on the matter? Oh, if it's all Sakem. They spoke like they seen them with their own eyes. Isn't that strange? Yeah! Just got frickin' told off by a bunch of people for trying to sneak up on there without permission and all. So why would some random people out of town be able to get in there? I guess Jenna has a point. Wait. Still don't know if accurate what things they were said. That's what we can do until they confirm what they told me. So, so I guess we're gonna go into that Soul Sakem anyways. Why would it be? I mean, we just got told no. Yeah. You can do that. Surely that'd be acceptable. Say no, but I'm sure you want to. It'll just be our secret. Fine. I can't say no to you. I mean, why can't Jenna be the leader? There's some dangerous place between... no. I think I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, how... Like, there is a lot of setup, mind you. But I'm kind of curious, like, how long it is. It's not... It wouldn't be perfectly accurate to go based off of how long you've been streaming, no, obviously, because there was a break in between, but it's been about an hour, and we're only just now getting into Soul Sacum. Probably closer to, like, 40 minutes or so. Plus, I was, like, taking my time smelling the roses along the way, so I guess there's a few various factors preventing this from being as long as it possibly could be. Do I got time to do Soul Sacum, or should I just, like, jump into battle mode and show what makes it so special? I guess we can at least see how long it takes. It also, like, it is the first place we get puzzles in the game, and that's like one half of the whole that makes Golden Sun. There's the battle system, which I get the feeling we won't really get true meat for tonight, at least from the story. And then there's the dungeons, which is like a unique aspect of Golden Sun is the fact that, like, the same synergy and slash spells that you use in battle kind of tie into the overall. It's kind of like an alternate universe where Pokemon didn't get rid of the HMs, but actually made them good. Oh, I forgot, like, we have spells, and, like, Isaac can heal right away, Garrett can use fire, and so can Jenna. I wonder who is going to get to be the more relevant of the two. Now, I hope you like Legend of Zelda, because I never really considered myself a Zelda fan, but I definitely see the aspects of the puzzle solving in that game in there. Minus the factor that there's, like, random battles interrupting you all the time. Like, this game is, you gotta take my word for it, this game is usually good with separating, like, the time frames that you fight things versus the times that you're solving puzzles. Unfortunately, Soul Sacum is kind of an exception. Like, when we get into rooms that are exclusively puzzle and zero navigation, I think they're fine and tuned down if not completely negate all random encounters. But this session in particular has a lot of segments where we're just, like, trying to find an item in one area of the room and take it to point B on the opposite side of the room. And through that, we're gonna run into quite a few instances that we're trying to navigate through a maze and get interrupted as we're trying to get back to the other place. Also, running into dead ends like that also doesn't really help matters. If I recall correctly though, and there's a chance I could misremember it, I do believe that we'll eventually reach a point where we got it. I do believe we'll eventually reach a point where we start gaining levels, because the game doesn't want you to get too high in the level, so I think there's actually, like, a point that is physically impossible to keep grinding. So you get too high in level and they cut the experience, they cut the random counters out completely. From what I remember. So that's what we need. Now we just gotta take it back over to the area. Like, I don't find it too bad personally. The mazes don't get that complex, but I can definitely see the argument and see how, like, it's not exactly grand RPG design to actually function in that particular way. Actually, I forgot that I healed, so I kind of could have handled that whole situation a little bit better. Oh, I forgot that we started out at level 1. So curious freaking something that you get that early on in the game. A bit impressive in and of itself. Just making sure everyone's well in order. And while I'm just pondering here, at least when we're not in battles, we can at least like take a moment to appreciate the music in this game, because Golden Sun I feel does a fantastic job in that aspect. I mean, even like Isaac's theme that we got going on here, it's amazing. I kind of feels like it gets a little overrated with like some of the battle themes get in Lost Age, or specifically like what I like to dub Jen's theme. It's a little spoiler, but like she kind of leads the tutorial of the second game. I won't say why that is, but while you're going through the prologue of that game, you like get a theme that's in her honor, and it's probably one of the best songs in this entire series. I may just say games because if you've been following me a bit, you've probably heard me say it once or twice, but in development, Golden Sun and Golden Sun Lost Age were intended to be one game, but long story short, they couldn't fit it all in a single GBA cart, so they packed it down into 2 separate Game Boy Advance games. I'm sure it was not like a direct split, and I'm sure they like made some, they fine-tune each individual game to some degree, but the plot of the second one continues right where the first one leads off, and there's other aspects that might be a little bit spoiler to go into later on. You can't be serious wanting to back off when we come this far. I mean, I don't want to get into too much trouble for trespassing, but again, I can't say no to Jenna. So should I also spotted lines that are giving away which one of these can actually be pushed? So, is that just supposed to be a dead end, or is there more to it that I might be overlooking? I'm not sure if we'll ever truly know. Oh! That was not the button I meant to press, but that slime is gone now, so I'll take it. What was I gonna say? Last thing I remember was just praising Jenna. Like I like her as a character, and do like her personality, but in the second game, she definitely. A lot of the praise for her is just how good she is mechanically in battles. Like, there's a reason she's meant as a tutorial character. Like, she is well-rounded, except that would imply that she has a flaw. Or well-rounded would imply that she's not as good as other people. But I guess it's like the most accurate way to put it. She is well-rounded party member. It just feels like she gets everything so early on. She gets like long-range moves, short-range, powerful moves. She's not too frail, she's not too slow. She's just right in about all the elements for an RPG character in a battle. Obviously, like, I don't typically find myself caring too much about stats of the individual characters in Golden Sun because of a mechanic that I really hope that we get to before the end of the stream, but it is possible that we won't without pulling battle mode into the mix. But once that mechanic comes into play, individual character stats don't really matter too much because you can kind of like mess around with characters' classes on the fly. And even just using this so-called mechanic that I keep alluding to, that anyone who knows even a tiny bit of Golden Sun already knows. But I'll be foreshadowing it anyways. I might as well go back for that chest. I think this room in particular is a real nasty culprit of just random encounters when you're in the middle of navigation, and them happening just frequently enough that you can lose your way, especially if you're not paying too close attention, but it's frequent enough to be annoying when you're just trying to get to that treasure chest that you see, but Meryl and his friends just decide to keep coming back again and again with their Fork of Doom. And you gotta get the point. Yeah, I can cast spells. I turn them into dust when I cast spells. I get the point, game. Unless you're gonna, like, throw something into the mix to change all that. And that's why I want to make sure I got that chest, because I am pretty confident that we were gonna run into a scenario like that, where we needed to put an eye jewel into a statue fairly soon. I'm wondering if it's this soon, but there's also a factor that that door I know leads to the next area, so I might be we may not need to worry about that quite yet, but and one thing you may notice is that I've been using synergy / spells a lot, but I have not ran out of synergy. One fun little thing they do, particularly in dungeons, which sort of justifies all the random encounters, is you actually recover synergy points as you walk around in dungeons. This is particularly useful for the whole, I guess, I don't mean it in a bad way, but gimmick is probably the most accurate thing to call it. But as I was saying, like, the whole gimmick of dungeons in Golden Sun is that you use spells to solve puzzles. Like, move, like we showed in the overworld, can be used to move objects from side to side, even if it's from a weird angle that we normally wouldn't get to push them from. This room is actually going to be a fantastic example of what makes move such a viable move, and why they literally give it to you before the game even starts. Yeah, there's that statue that we need to put the jewel in. And some of these other ones have secret passageways, and sure, there's gonna be a few other goodies along the way. Move gets used a lot in Golden Sun, almost to the point where it's like the building block of the puzzle making in Golden Sun. Now, before we put that jewel in, because I believe that just opens up another door, I'm kind of curious to see where this leads to. Just a dead end to, like, get stuck in random encounters, I suppose. Fantastic. And I think, like, it's about as much time as I wanted to put into Golden Sun today, but at this point I feel like we've come so into Soul Seiken, we might as well, like, finish it up tonight. Alright. Let's make use of that jewel that we picked up earlier. And maybe since I open all these up in advance, we can actually see the door open, or it's gonna be off screen. Yeah, I don't recall if that entryway was there before. And I got a feeling that it wasn't, because it's not just a big circle. I don't think I need a heal quite yet. Let me just make use of the synergy and make sure that we get all these out of the picture before they become too big of an issue. A little overkill, but awesome. I think Jenna got her first level up too. Second level up. If you need more anecdotal evidence of why Jenna's better than Garrett, well, the proof is in the pudding. Another statue? Or, nope. Just a healing herb this time. I just had to get adventurous. I had to not just go the stray away like I so desired. It's a little unfortunate that we don't really get to see Jenna's full potential in this prologue, but trust me, she's a good character. Yeah, I still consider this a prologue. I guess it's debatable where the game truly starts, because you could argue that the flashback from 3 years ago is the actual prologue, but we also don't have access to spells or anything until this point. But we're still missing, again, what I consider a key element that makes Golden Sun Golden Sun. And it's not until that point that I truly consider the game begin, because right now we just get a lot of backstory and lore. That's part of what I consider a definition of a prologue, is where the game is still laying out the story beats more so than the gameplay. So yeah, it turns out like everything that those people, that Sedos and Marathi were talking about in Soul Sacrum is true, and since they know it's that accurately, so much detail so accurately, it seems pretty clear that they intruded into this place. And I mean, I'm not 100% sure if that implies that they're thieves, but they're definitely in places that they shouldn't be, which thievery is definitely a possible reason. And there's definitely like, yeah, Crane, we should probably backtrack now while we still can and make sure that we warn all the others. But your scholar intuition and desire to learn is gonna force us to go even deeper, isn't it? No, I think we should go warn the others. That's fair. Let's go, Jenna. I should have said let's go, Garrett. He would have agreed with me. Well, fun. They're not even gonna let me. You know, I never showed off this synergy. It's called Retreat. It lets you leave a dungeon. But the plot is very insistent that we don't go back and warn the others. So, of course it won't work. So this room is just sun, nothing special to it. This room is glowy and shiny, with a lot more going on in it. It has a moon, I'm sure that's getting it all. You know, looking back on it now, I guess it doesn't Dark Dawn, the third game? Oh, that's a whole thing in of itself that maybe we'll get into someday. Maybe they weren't so far-fetched in exploring themes of light and dark. I personally, growing up, I thought that was a little, like, out of left field. Like, I mean, we already explored the floor elements. What else can we possibly do? Oh, let's bring light and dark into the mix. But no, actually, like, maybe I'm looking a little too deep into it, but with all this talk of the sun and the moon, maybe it's not too far-fetched to introduce, like, dark and light elements into the world of Golden Sun. Yeah, just some food for thought. And this commentary is basically just me, like, giving thought stew in the mix. Alright. Do I want to show this, or do I want to just cut right to the pudding? So, solution to this dungeon seems pretty self-explanatory. We got, like, all these statues in the mix, and we can move them around. Looks like you could just put those over here, and yeah, but we could also just push these over here. Point being, because I played this game before, I know there's a quote-unquote trap in the mix. I just forget. It's been so long, I forget what triggers the trap, and it's not too big of a deal if we accidentally trigger it, because it's just a cutscene plays of Crane going, "Oh no, don't do it, Isaac, it's a trap." But I would love to make myself feel smart and skip that cutscene by actually doing what you're supposed to. So let's just go by tuition. These we just push in the mix and they'll overlap the sun, because they got like little lights. I'm not sure if you can really see the lights in here, but that seems too obvious. So what if we go over here? and do these that take a little more effort first. So far, so good. Nothing terrible has happened yet. And Lights create hole. Don't question it. We're just gonna assume it's magic. And let's take our fancy new abilities into the mix, because even if we could get behind, we can't jump over this gap. So let's use our powers to push this in. Something tells me that we're good with this now. What's happening? Oh, that's right. You pretty much get the cutscene even if you don't trigger the trap. Isaac must have found something. Yeah, it's like one floor away. Where did that hole come from? Well, we put statues, lights came out, and they magically made a hole, and then dropped the statue into the hole. And now, we're not gonna have spoiler alerts of something happening in like 2 seconds in the dialogue. We're not gonna have deja vu of the tragedy that happened 3 freaking years ago. Actually, do they mention that here? No, they don't really mention it later on, so I just assumed that if it's coming up here. Don't worry, it's not like spoiling plot from later on. They just, if they don't bring it up now, they might just bring it up in like one-line dialogue later on. But yeah, like, Sados and Mirani, they got this far. They did the common sense thing of just pushing this here, and that triggered a whole mess that like caused entire tragedy to this village. So if that was just a trap, if the thing that decimated the entire village was just a trap and not even the result of what they were and not even the thing that was being protected from, I'm a little worried of what's up ahead. Like, what could possibly be worth, yeah, what Kraden's saying, putting a trap over. I mean, there's only 2 rooms. I get the feeling it won't be too hard to see what's changed. So yeah. Sun went to moon and moon went to sun. I wonder what could be in this room. I wonder if it's that glowing light in the wall. I wouldn't blame people for not realizing you have to press A on top of that area, but the game also doesn't let you go anywhere, and there's only 2 rooms, so I guess you eventually figure out what to go here. Nevertheless, I guess we're going into the very heart of Soul Seikam itself. And it's about an hour and a half in, and you know, I'll be generous and take like 20 minutes for like between like the setup of the stream and the intermission. Half an hour would be on the safe side. I guess it's about like 50 minutes to get through the prologue. So maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit because we're not quite done yet. No, he's fine now. Yeah, like when he's looking at a slight angle like that, the Kraden sprite just, I'm just realizing little tiny details I haven't noticed before. That's about all. So it's kind of weird they don't know what an ocean is, but I guess they have been at the village whole lives, and this kind of seems like it's taking place not in exactly a modern era. Like, the internet was barely a thing when this game was released, let alone in whatever time frame Golden Sun is taking place in. Because even back when this game first came out, it feels like the area, it feels like it's a lot more medieval, mythical in general, of an environment, of a time frame. than most places. Also, we're getting the lore dump that, like, everything's made from the 4 element, and the elemental stars are the key factors that provide each of those elements. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but yeah. This world Golden Sun is made up of 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and wind. And they make up everything in the Golden Sun world. And there's an elemental star for each of these elements, and apparently this is where the stones are held. Right in these statues are the stones that make up the dairy foundation of this game's entire world. So surely the smart thing to do is just leave it be and go back and warn everyone that, like, these visitors know way too much about this place and inevitably are up to no good. But Kraden exists. I get the feeling... I'm just say yes. Let's follow something. Wisdom, Stone Sages. This is the kind of part I kind of gloss over. I feel like it's okay. It doesn't really matter till later. Alchemy. Yeah, I got that part. Stone Sages. We'll probably get more into that later. Wonderful series. Started file earlier this year, but changed up how I distribute gens for something different. Yeah. Welcome in, Joe Cool, by the way. Yeah, I'm going for the game myself. I played it several times and even done a series on YouTube and that over it, but it has been quite a few years since I've done a full playthrough, and it probably won't be tonight, but Golden Sun turns 20 tomorrow, so I figured like I at least like dust off the game and give it a revisit at the very least. Come on, it's a team effort. We're a team. Let's all go in and get the stones together. Come on, Jen. You can come too. You're just as capable as the rest of us. I know. I've seen into the future. Fine, but it's a vow must. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm sure it won't backfire in like 2 seconds. This is the first GBA game I got after getting the system. Right, I forget. I don't think this was my first GBA game I got, but it was one that I got fairly early on. I told the story at the beginning of the stream, but I'm sure no one else was around at the time, so I'll re-say it again. Throw a few extra details in the mix to really make it worthwhile. But this was a game I got at Christmas. I actually got 2 games on the Christmas that this came out. One of them being Golden Sun, of course. But the funny thing was there's another one that's like Monster Rancher Advance. And I kind of wish I knew why my folks got me these games for Christmas, because in hindsight it feels really random, but I doubt my parents would still remember at this point why they got me Golden Sun. I mean, it's possible I might have been reading up on things at the time when it came out, but it's just been so long ago I can't really remember for sure. I know that there's like an anime of Monster Rancher going on like the typical local networks around that time. I forget if I got the game before seeing the show or after seeing the show, but that would at least explain why I got Monster Rancher for Christmas. Unfortunately, I lost that GBA cart. Thankfully, I didn't lose Golden Sun, and have it to this day, and it's pretty much changed everything for me from a creative perspective at the very least. I did have like fantasies of my own dream game before Golden Sun, but the way games were in my head were drastically different from the way they are now. Like Golden Sun basically was what shaped the ideas I had in my head for a video game into an RPG instead of the what it was originally gonna be, which is childhood was a long time ago, so some of the details are still a little fuzzy in my head. Two pretty specific memories I still have was one just like as a kid, like playing in the pool, pretending to be a water superhero, and another is kind of like a banjo. Was like a sketch I made in one of the school journals of like some weird redheaded kid with a dog in his backpack, and it's basically a Banjo-Kazooie clone. It's weird. It's another story I'll have to get into another time. But I was one of those weird people that never had Banjo-Kazooie, but had Banjo-Tooie. But alas, we're about to get interrupted by a major plot. AKA, Karma's gonna come to bite us in the butt for not going back to the town a lot sooner to warn the people at town, because what do you know, the mysterious clowns are here. And they are here to get the stars. Yeah, I mean, we've been calling it the freaking fees the whole time. You say that, but it's not really stealing when you're hand feeding the information into the old man himself. Hello, dude that talked me off. That definitely wasn't foreshadowed at the beginning there. Okay, I was a little eager to jump the gun there, and because I thought we were having like the sprite standing on head thing again. But alas, no, I think I'm jumping the gun a little too much. You have to give us the stars. Now, as much as I would never wish any harm on Jenna, I know how it goes, and I know Garrett has more of a soul than I ever could. So let's just showcase the one good thing Garrett does. Why would you deny us? Don't you want your friends to be safe? What guarantee do we have? Oh yeah, I jumped the gun a little bit. Of course. Why would this random dude be the guaranteed? Well, I think he said Felix. That's what I heard. I mean, we didn't see him die, but as far as RPGs are concerned, we saw him die. Because, like, they were all on the river, giant boulder scene, and then they're all gone. I think that's a pretty strong implication of death. It was actually him. Of course they were. Yeah, so now for the part I was saying before. Yeah, we don't have a choice. What do you mean I meant to press no? Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it could be argued this is bad, but also it's good. It shows that Gary has a soul. And also, like, plays into, like, his stubborn personality being a good thing. Which is a rare compliment for me to give, so I might as well share the compliment while I can. Maybe bring all the stars. I was gonna say, but why? Why can't you all just get them yourselves? But then I remember the whole plot MacGuffin with the Merle bags. You save here? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, kind of cancels each other out because I feel kind of silly for grazing over it. But yeah, that trap that we talked about in earlier on in the dungeon, that freaking trap was what caused this whole mess 3 years ago to begin with. So you gotta give a take, I guess. And of course it's the one we gotta go the long way around. So, how are we all enjoying the weather today? It actually feels pretty hot for a 66-degree weather day. You don't say, Kraden. Yeah, I'm gonna bring you the stupid gen when it's fine, good, and ready. I like to see you all jump through all these platforms and navigate around these pillars. Only thing we're missing is just random encounters in the mix to just really sell it home the whole Soul Sakem experience. Please don't throw random battles in here, that was sarcasm. But alas, here we go. Let's just get the last stupid gem and be done with it. What's the worst that could possibly happen? He says, playing this game like 5 times. Way more than that, honestly, in the mix of it. Oh hey! Everything is going wrong! Well, it's stopped for now. Oh hey! Hello, giant rock monster. I'm sure you won't be, like, relevant to the plot right at the very beginning and the end. Yeah, I know! I love the implication of that. It's like... Yeah, I know, it's a rock, stupid. Could that be the wise one? More on that later, possibly. Maybe not until the second game. I mean, I had a joke, but I'll keep it to myself. I'm impressed that Jenna is... impressive how easily Jenna is impressed by a round rock. But, I mean, the implication here is that this rock is the only thing keeping this entire Sakem from falling apart. Let's not forget... I forgot when the game told us this, but let's not forget that we're inside a volcano right now, technically. Bravery speaks. You know, you could have avoided this entire mess, Jenna, if you came along with us, but who am I to, like, doubt your wisdom? But I mean, she might actually end up being the smart one at the end of the day, because who knows how long that this thing will last before it falls apart in of itself. And if everyone finishes up talking sometime soon, feels like this is the part that's gonna get away. Yeah, eventually they'll stop talking. There we go. Everyone but us is going through the magic portal to safety. Lasai. Gonna try my best. And that's the story of how everything went wrong again. Well, we just gotta use the retreat synergy and be good. Oh wait, that's right. The game wouldn't let us retreat before. No, they don't have a reason to. I guess we'll just have to hop back. It's a long hop back, but if we start now and end the dialogue now and start hopping back, maybe we can get back before things fall apart again. Of course. The one thing... No, let's just move now. That's what I'm trying to say. Hello, giant rock. Kind of... We're standing here because you're talking to us. We couldn't move for the, past 10 minutes because of all the dialogue. That's been the gameplay for the past 10 minutes. The elemental Jinn, they have returned. Take out the elemental star? Should I? It's the cause of this whole mess in the first place. Return to its bag. The elemental sheriffs are moving away from here. Without the power, the main moves freely once again and the chamber is collapsing. There'll be no chamber for the elemental stars to return to. The world will be exposed to the threat of alchemy. It can be dangerous power if it's misused. The linked lighthouses, that power will be released. The 4 lighthouses remain unlit. Maybe now's not the best time for more monologue. Finally, we're getting out of here. Thanks to guys who haven't died yet. I'm just glad I don't have to hop around any longer, but I guess we're not safe yet. Yeah? Oh, so now I got promoted from a rock to a floating eye, I suppose. Now we could run all the way out of here. Or we could do the smart thing and use our ability to retreat the heckles out of there. And we're almost done with the prologue proper. Almost. Right now, we are in a heap of problems and trouble. Looks like everyone calling on. They say they're studying alchemy. They did, but the eruption. Well, we're screwed. If the volcano doesn't kill us, our parents definitely will. So much for that plan. For now, there's nothing tells me you're not gonna be too safe once we go over your way. Where you been? Long story. Do you have a couch? They indeed were with us. They indeed used to be with us. Grab a seat, everyone. So, Isaac and Garrett proceed to retell everything that's been happening for the past hour or so to the elders and magic people. And with that out of the way, our adventures throughout the prologue are almost over. I don't even want to swear it, because could be a few more minutes of cutscene and dialogue before we get to that point proper. The true Sachem, indeed. And we led them right to it, yeah. And indeed they are now prisoners. You think they can be saved? They got it, somehow. Just for Felix. He'll protect them, won't he? That'll certainly help. Where's the Great Healer? Oh, right there. What's the Great Healer been up to? Is the question we should be properly asking. Yeah, about the giant floating rock. Not the answer I was expecting to hear. Alas, it must be the wise one, the guardian of the elemental stars. It's interesting that depending on your choice, you could end the game faster. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was just waiting for us to get to the point where I could properly show it off. It's certainly a way to end the game. So the bad news is the eruption's unable to be stopped. Good news is Vale will be protected thanks to the Wise One. Bad news is that whether or not Vale gets destroyed by an eruption is the least of the world's problems right now. As we'll find out in only 2 seconds. So again, elemental stars tied to a very powerful source that could very easily be misused. Whole point of Vale's entire existence was to protect those elemental stars from falling into the wrong hands, and it's not looking too hot at the moment for that whole protecting the elemental stars from falling into the wrong hands sort of ideal. This world will be ours to save or to destroy. Our inaction may bring about its destruction. Yeah, this is actually on the GBA player on my GameCube. Although the ways I can set it up, this is probably the most convenient one for me just because I have my GameCube already handy. Because for some reason I thought it was more convenient to capture with the Nintendo GameCube than it is to like use Nintendo Wii. I think I still have that Wii, but I have to double check to see if the Nintendo Wii still works before I start using it again. It's a bit of a long story in of itself, but like I was putting it aside to sell. I was storing in the basement, and then the basement kind of flooded. And I did have it in a box, but that box was only a cardboard box. So the Wii definitely got wet, and I have no idea if it still functions properly because of that. But I at least still have the GameCube, and I still have my Wii U, so it's not like I'm blocked out of playing any video games, even in the worst case scenario. But I think like the Wii would be the better form for that. Now, this is the point where what Chad was talking about. This is actually something that can affect the rest of the course of the game. Will you accept responsibility for the fate of the land? You have to say no, as it's not a vow you must situation. You can't blame me, I couldn't do it if I were in your shoes. We actually got free roaming. Terrible being responsible for the fate of the world. Now, I don't think it really matters, but I'm gonna save just to be on the safe side. As we talk around, it's actually kind of interesting the dialogue you get. Clearly the Great Healer wants you to say yes. But we can actually walk out here and say no, we can't handle it. As you step outside, you can't take back your decision. Think about that before you leave the Sachem. Yes, I'm sure. They really want to say no. And here we go. Welcome to the... Thank you for tuning in to the intro and the finale of Golden Sun. The world we refused, so the world began drifting towards its fate of destruction. Yeah. And yeah. It's not... The game is generous enough to be like, if you were stubborn enough to ignore in the first place, you can just go right back where you left off, but it is technically considered an ending. And I'll say no again. No, I'm not sure. You have to think it over. Yes? Will you take the fate of the world into your hands? You chose to leave your decision, Isaac, therefore there will be no further discussion. Well, alright, let's find out what we gotta do next. Yeah, brave. Definitely didn't decline in another timeline. Thanks for the insight, Floating Rock. Well, I'm glad everyone else was able to see it and it wasn't delusional. Felix must unlock the power. Also another line of dialogue that I didn't really know the true meaning of until actually replaying the games in the series. So what's next? We just gotta go forward with the adventure, I suppose. Go find the people that took Jenna and Kraden and hope for the best. Seek the elementals, the Jinn. They will prove useful. Alright, you know, at this point I feel like we gotta at least show off one Jinn before ending things off. I can recall getting very lost in this game my first time and went to a harder area before I was supposed to. I don't know if I ran into that problem, because I wasn't sure if I was as adventurous as a kid, but in hindsight, remembering like exactly how the game, when I think more about how the game's pathed out, I definitely see it as possible. Like, I guess you don't like go to the first town you see, it could be very easy to get off track, and the game is balanced accordingly. Like, I mean, if you go into a late game area before you're actually supposed to go to the late game area, then it makes sense that that area would kick your butt. Yeah, what other option we had? Just sit around and wait for the world to end? Not in this timeline. And with that, almost... Again, being generous, even though it's been streaming for 2 hours, let's say an hour and a half. We got one more cutscene before... is that debatable? We are very, 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 very close to being done with the prologue. I swear we're actually significantly close this time. Again, I feel like I'm being a dead horse at this point, but I do feel like Lost Age does throw you into action a lot quicker. But I do suppose it is also worth noting I never actually timed how long the giant wall of text in Lost Age actually is. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen like a background scene actually do anything fun, like whatever that puppy was up to. Can't recall a moment like particularly like that since Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. Oh, wow, that's such a throwaway line. We're counting on you, Isaac. Oh, and you too, Garrett. I forgot just like Garrett not only is Garrett Garrett, but the game itself is consciously aware of how Garrett is. Fantastic. Like, it's kind of like what kind of makes him more forgiving of a character when the game's playing along with his flaws of his characteristics. It must be very difficult. Yeah. If we keep talking, then we're never actually gonna get to leave the place. Well, here goes nothing. 2 random kids just out in the world. The dialogue noises annoy me enough to end up turning it off. I always do so when I play a game. I guess I can see why that is. I always found it charming. Oh. Didn't mean the trigger cut battle that quickly. I always find it charming the same way Animal Crossing sound effects are. But I can see how it's not for everyone. Anyways, the real point of what I define as the prologue being a prologue. Meet the Genie. The thing that makes Golden Sun, an hour and a half into the game. My lord, it took long enough. Welcome, Flint. I couldn't be happier to actually see you. Well, I mean, we were told to go get the Djinns along our way, so don't see any reason not to take you along. That said, I'm gonna play hard to catch, or hard to get. Oh, come on. I promise you won't regret. Please let me take me with you. Please, I'll never let you down. Can't I go with you? No, I'm serious. I'll never, ever disappoint you. Please! Please, take me with you. Please, I'm begging. Please! Take me with you! Meanie, I don't care what you say, I'm coming along with you. And I'll put you through a tutorial that you can't skip. That will show ya! But welcome to the Djinn system. Again, I feel like this is really what makes Golden Sun. And I'll try to explain, but it could be a little complex, so if you've never played a Golden Sun game before, just listen to good old Flint here tell you what's going on, and I'll try to summarize and paraphrase where appropriate. As we're seeing here, Djinni have different elements, or Djinnis affect your stats, and I can actually even teach you new moves and abilities depending on how you mix and match them. Flint isn't a Venus Djinn, so equipping him onto Garrett completely changes his class around and giving him access to the move growth. So let's get into a battle so we can actually see eventually. First we gotta the game's gotta take its time throwing Flint back onto Isaac, and then we can see it in action. Now, I'm not controlling this. I guess Flint just took over our bodies and is gonna show us how it works in and of itself. So Flint has lets you basically doesn't attack, it's a little more powerful, but it's also tied to the earth element. So if something is weak to it, then it'll do more damage. After it's used, it'll go into the standby state where you can then summon it. And the summons are basically super powerful attacks. The more Djinns you have in an element, the more powerful summon you can do. They also have a neat side effect of also raising that particular elemental resistance to the entire party. So even the most basic ones, like Venus here, it may not seem like it does a lot. It seems like that amount of damage get outpaced well into the post game, but at least there's a resistance. Also recovery. After using the summon, it won't go back to set right away. It's in a useless state for a couple turns. If you're outside battle, like a couple seconds of walking around also gets it back to normal. And got it. That's very basic of Djinn. So we're gonna need a lot more Djinns, a lot more party members to really see them in full action. And that's why I wanted to do the second half of the stream with battles. It won't be as long as I thought because turns out I realized how it honestly took about as long as I was suspecting that it would take to get to this exact point in the game, but I thought I wouldn't actually commit myself to getting to this point in the game because I wanted to only stream for a couple hours. That said, let me double check to make sure we're properly saved. And more so for the people at home, I'm gonna show you all just what the Djinns can truly do. Because it's a lot easier to see their true potential in action when you actually have more of them. So let's just pull up. Why not use this one that I have the most level in? Can't use the. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. This is the battle mode. This is actually a really cool mode. It's one of the few times that there's actually multiplayer in an RPG. Typically how it works is, if you have two Game Boy Advances and a link cable, you plug them together and this lady here will let you know that you're about to connect to another person, and you can actually have a 3-on-3 battle against another person. When you don't have a link cable, it just gives you a random battle gauntlet. So let me see if I can showcase a little better just how quickly Djinns can change things around. I put everyone on standby so you can basically see what everyone would look like, what their default classes would be, even if they were this high in level without any Djinns. It's a pretty solid moveset. We got more advanced versions of Quake that we saw early on. We got better healing. Garrett has a lot more fire power. Ivan, ignore the names I actually gave them, and Mia are the wind and water users specifically. So they got some nice healing, but let's see how some Djinns can change things around. First of all, this might take a little hot minute, but I want to put everyone in the default classes to see even if you're not being too experimental and you just match up everyone's match up people with their elemental alliance, like give all the Earth Genies to the Earth guy, and etc, etc, they can still get some pretty interesting things from the higher classes. Hopefully I'm not boring anyone too much, but since I want to do this, upload this to YouTube eventually, I want to like make sure I'm as thorough as I can with showing exactly how it's affected. So we're not changing classes here, and you can see the single Genie is already giving a pretty significant boost to Mia's stats here. So even without class changes, Genie are incredibly useful to have on set. We got no new skills here, but we got a new class upgrade with 2 of them, and the stats boosts are significantly better. And when we get to 4, we get access to Wish, which won't say here, but it's like Ply, but applies to the whole party. So it's a very good healing spell. And then all the party members kind of have a similar feel. Like we actually get that Reagan Rock we saw is probably one of the most powerful single base attacks, but now I might be mixing it up with the second game because I don't think you can get, yeah, because you can't get quite enough Genie in this game to unlock the second form, but there's a second form. And meanwhile, now that I have all these party members on set, let's show just how drastically different they are. I've like got these boosts to resistance, weird moves that allow you to block synergy, and all that, as well as access to like fire moves, even though he's a wind adept. And all because the class we gave him has like a little more focus around Fire Genie, so he becomes a little more fire focused. Similar situation with Isaac here. Isaac is a bit more unorthodox. And that's been forever and a half, but I kind of want, I can think of a class in particular I would love to showcase. But I'm not sure if I have the gen I would need to pull it off. Okay, that puts me in more of the fire focus. This makes me more on the water side. Oh! There's the class that I'm looking for. Yeah, you can actually be in literal ninja in the game, and there's a couple other classes like this that have really unique moves, but I think the ninja is the most obvious example. You got Gale, which is kind of like the same as Whirlwind, which is one of Ivan's default wind moves, but it's kind of cool to actually like get a move that functions exactly like it, but in the class change. And then you got like all of these ninja-inspired move pools in the mix of all that. Why don't we take a couple of these classes for a test ride? So this is the Monster Gauntlet. Like it's nice that it's there, but it's real hard to like showcase the true potential of it because it's basically just a randomized battle gauntlet, and you just get thrown against, and you just keep getting all these enemies over and over, and it keeps going until you die. But it can last more likely you'll give up out of boredom before you're likely to get knocked out. I mean, I guess if you're super careless, you can, but at these higher levels, it's definitely more likely to be the case. Oh, hey, hey, Mango. I think, like, I recognize the name. You the same Magno from Twitter? Oh, wow, we're actually getting a boss on the second enemy. Like, I haven't seen that happen so soon. But at least now I can, like, showcase Genies in a more proper effect. Alright. HP. Cool. Yeah, nice to see you here. For anyone coming in, I went for like the first hour and a half to get through all the prologue and Golden Sun, but considering we only just got Flint at the end of it, and while I was planning on ending the stream soon, but I didn't want to end it before showcasing exactly just the Jinny in action, a more proper full action. So I figured I'd just bring in the Battle Gauntlet and play around with that, so I can actually see, like, we have Jinnies that, like, steal synergy, and we actually stop them from attacking because of that. It's actually incredibly convenient for the stream that we got a boss this early on, because now I actually have to think about what I'm doing, which is a little shame because I only just started paying attention, like, this turn. But it's fine. We got all the Jinny in this file, so we got all of the... I just noticed that my mic was kind of exactly right on top of the chat window, so it kind of made it a little harder to see. Wow. I don't even feel like I'm using 1% of my power. And just look how badly we decimated this thing. Might play through the first 2 on stream, and yeah, the prologue can drag on. Yeah. A little unfortunate that, like, I have a pretty full YouTube stream schedule, because I'd love to, like, continue this on additional streams. But I want to wait until I at least get through some of the other things I've been doing, like Pokemon Coliseum Randomizer and the YouTube series that I started before picking this up. But it is definitely something on mine. And with the anniversary of Golden Sun tomorrow, I want to at least showcase this game for its proper release. Yeah, I mean, I have Judgment ready to go. I might as well use it and throw it into the mix. Alright. But yeah, I definitely am gonna go back to Golden Sun eventually. It may take longer than I like, but I definitely do want to revisit Golden Sun sometime in the future. And I just forgot how this boss was so vulnerable to all these status effects. Like, I don't even know if it's attacked yet. Yeah, I don't even know if this thing has had a chance to attack, just like unleashing both the Sleeping Djinn and the Stun Djinn one after another. But I think now you can at least see just how useful they are. Like, you kind of got a gauge of how, like, how the synergy works, even though we had early spells, and just like how the Djinn are able to add their own thing into the mix, despite the fact that, like, here's a pretty unique ability. This one allows you to, like, give another player a second turn. And that really, like, changes things up quite a bit. Yeah. I guess I'm not surprised that a lot of people are streaming Golden Sun right now. And of course, like, with the anniversary tomorrow, it only makes sense that a lot more people would be going through it. Yeah, and I've heard the stories of the Kraken being so easy to put to sleep, but it's been a long time since I fought this one. Like, I know, like, he's kind of more... Oh, look at that, I was just about to talk trash about him, thinking, like, he's kind of easy. One of the easier bosses in the game. And optional, too. And then then I realized he has a move that just puts you down to 1 HP no matter what. A little awkward, because I usually, like, if I'm actually properly prepared for a boss fight, I always try to make sure I have Wish on my side, but I got a little careless. And I don't even know if, like, I have an arrangement that could properly give me that this time. Do I at least have... I can at least throw Granite up in the mix until I get everything more in order. That's good. Yeah, it's not my ideal setup, but I think we'll be fine. He's not final boss hard material, it just might take a little bit. Granite's an incredibly useful Djinn anyways, because it, like, kind of acts sort of like Protect, where it negates a lot of the damage you take instead of just being a... It only lasts for the 1 turn, but basically cuts any damage you do in half. So a lot of people... So pretty much an ideal time to use it is when you're in a pinch and you need to buy time to get yourself up and healthy. And you got this guy that stops them, and I'm so close. I might as well just throw one more Jin so we can do a full-fledged summon in the mix. Currently on the file in your original cards, you have Jins. So Mia's a Water Monk, Isaac's a Conjurer, Gare's a Berserker, and Ivan's a Sage. Yeah. From what I remember, Conjurer's another interesting one. Like, it wouldn't be something I would use in a traditional playthrough, just because, like, I'm not so used to using, like, curses and debuffs and things like that, because I'm so used to enemies not being vulnerable to them. So it's certainly convenient to actually have someone that is. What am I doing? I have like 4 summons ready to go. Yeah, if this doesn't like speed things up with, yeah, you know what? Just so we can have the water summon ready to go next turn. I'm gonna just do that. Bane. You know what? With all the other things this guy's been vulnerable to, he's probably vulnerable to being poisoned as well. So why not? Let's just throw that in the mix and see how it goes. Right. Again, I know he's a boss, but I didn't think he'd last this long. Dang it, I'm more used to... There we go. I'm used to, like, things taking a couple turns and being done. Yeah, that was good timing, I gotta admit. Oh, hey! I guess the game overheard me talking about there not being enough bosses in this battle gauntlet. Cause, hey, here's another one. Right here in handy. When I don't really think there's too much I can do right now. So you actually have Wish. I really miss Wish. At least I feel like I've been pretty good at keeping up at full health on my own. Don't have to worry too much about being left in a bad state. I'm gonna try not using items just because I know they don't actually get used up, but it doesn't hurt to have, what I'm trying to say. You know, one playthrough, this guy was always the first opponent in the arena. North American release was November 11, 2001, but most people refer to the Japanese anniversary date. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And that would also explain why this was a Christmas present. And why I felt like I got this game so soon after its release, despite the fact I got it at Christmas. I completely overlooked the fact that the Japanese release date is drastically different from the North American one. And... okay, perfect timing to have this Jin ready. Do I have any more healing Jin, or am I gonna have to, like, eat my words when I was talking about how I wasn't going to use items? Possibly anyone have Ply or something like that? I will make do with Cure. Potion, Cure, do I at least have a Jin that could give me a little bit of health? Because, I mean, I definitely have items that I could use. But I don't know if they'd be jumping the gun to actually go that way. Like, it'd be more fun of a challenge to try to do it without the items, because it's definitely possible. Especially if I actually took the time and care to actually set up my arrangement properly, so I would actually be able to have Wish on one of the classes. Yeah, this is definitely a good Christmas present. I can miss the story that, like, I kind of wish I wasn't as young so I could remember a little bit better the backstories of how I got Golden Sun. A lot of my memories boil down to remembering getting in on Christmas and then going for that prologue. And man, that certainly had an impact. Just having something like that so early on. Especially because, like I said, Pokemon was the first game. Before Golden Sun, Pokemon was the only RPG I really played. And honestly, like, even now, I don't really play too many RPGs outside of it. I have played Persona 4. And there's probably a couple other RPGs I have not thinking of at the moment. But this is like the game that introduced to me what a non-Pokemon RPG would kind of be like. So that's probably a lot of impact of it in itself. Also, there's the factor that I keep overlooking of how I actually had like Monster Rancher and Golden Sun on that Christmas, and how I unfortunately don't know what happened to the Monster Rancher game. I lost it when I was fairly young, so I didn't even get to play that game too much. But at least I had this one. No, you know, I've been spending so much time talking, I completely overlooked the fact that I had 2 summons ready to go. So weird that Ruby and Sapphire came out after Golden Sun. I mean, like, I could see why you think that, but at the same time, like, I'm still... It felt normal to me, like... Probably because I was already so deep into Pokemon, and... Kind of made sense that, like, the GBA Pokemon... a little more familiar to me. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm trying to get at. I'm not too surprised, but it's also something I haven't really thought about too often. Like, if you were to ask a question, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you if I probably wouldn't have been able to answer it until you already told me. Hey, Monster Rancher Advance, a whole book where I write down codes for Monster. Yeah, it's really a shame that I really didn't get a good opportunity to actually explore that game, because from the little bit I remember playing of it, oh, that was literally the worst person that could go down right about now. The little bit I did play of Monster Rancher I remember was fun, but also I was a kid. I think worst case scenario, I do still have the Djinn that can revive handy, but I think, like, surprised none of my setups actually can revive either. You know what? What I got to lose? At least I got the ninja class here, and really, here we go, Quartz. The problem with Djinns reviving is I remember a lot of them not being guaranteed. Also helps that I think the revive spell actually fully revives them. Never really got far into the story. I was a kid, so I didn't really have a way to do the unlocks thing. And I assume we're still talking about Monster Rancher there. And yeah. Ironically, I've probably seen more of the PlayStation Monster Rancher than oh, of course now I get Revive. Better late than never, I suppose. But yeah, I get the Monster Rancher. When it comes to that game, I've seen more of the PlayStation one because it was apparently a childhood game of a streamer that I used to watch. And they spent a good stream just playing that game. And there was a lot of fun, like, little in-jokes with the community that came out of it. It was kind of a fun time overall. Recall from the now rare Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Christmas sale at GameStop. Oh, that Path of Radiance. Yeah, that's a mess of itself. You know, there's something ironic about Ivan being the one alive, carrying the team, and Mia being the one I have to constantly be reviving. It's obviously all in my negligence, but I think anyone who plays Golden Sun well enough can appreciate the irony of this mess. And I'm gonna be Johnnin, but I do feel like I have a lot of excuses that I'm just, like, paying attention to chat more than I am the game. And Happy anniversary to you too, Magno. Thanks again for stopping by. Take care. Hope you have a good night. Alright. Because it would be good timing too, because I would like to finish the stream after this battle. It's just unfortunately for my goals with the time restraint, we just so happened to got stuck in 2 boss fights in a row. Oh, man, I really just want to use an item, but I told myself I wouldn't use items. We can be fine. I just gotta stop forgetting that I have a Judgment Summon ready to go. I guess it doesn't help that I'm like constantly like just trying to survive. But you know what, right there, I could have just done a Judgment Summon instead of whatever the heck I thought was better to do and be in a lot better shape. But then again, at least I'm not just breezing through it this way. Alright. There's Revive. Unfortunately, okay. It's better than nothing. This gym will at least keep me protected until I can get the healing gin off. I just realized, because it's going to be revived and not have the boost of Flash. Hopefully he just doesn't get attacked and we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, but I think you saw there, like, our Garrett of this dimension took like 103 while everyone else was taking only double digits, if even that. I think, hopefully that gives you an idea how powerful Jins like Granite and Flash are. Alright. I might as well throw another Ember in the mix. Might as well, well, health is low and all that. Are you the only one that can heal though? Because I don't want to be constantly trying to revive people. I want to be on the other end of that for once. I don't know if that will really help me because the synergy isn't really the problem. Well, maybe it is. It does have a few synergies, but I find myself struggling more against them non-synergy moves that it was throwing my way, but it was worth a shot at the very least. Okay, come on, Judgment. Flash is a lot more effective than Granite, but they do the same thing mostly. It makes sense. Flash does come after Granite, so I guess I remember that. I didn't remember them doing the same thing, but I'm not surprised that the Prior would be more effective. I just remembered that they have the same general effect. Alright. I mean, might as well heal someone. And I don't have any summon ready, so this might help me out in the long run. Kind of weird that, like, still feels a little weird that this boss is putting up as much of a fight as it has been, considering like this is a file of a game that I've beaten basically at the final boss and have just been grinding every now and then since then. Alright. Would love to buy some time to get Mia back up on her feet. Cool, we got the ninja class back again. I'm gonna take advantage of that while I still can. Even though I should probably heal. It feels like I've been cycling through Jin so quickly I haven't even really been able to showcase the move at all. Alright. It does make me wonder just how much more this thing could possibly have. Do I summon now just to get that out of the picture? Torch, Smog, Scorch. I guess if I use Scorch, then I can do a level 3 summon, which is a little better. I remember Shuriken being pretty good, but more so as a ranged attack. Annihilation, attempt to annihilate a full. I don't think that would work on a boss. Like, if I knew it was vulnerable to delusion, I'd try that, but this does seem to be the best thing I have. You know, it doesn't feel like you have healing moves that often. I'm gonna just heal up while I have the opportunity to do so. Oh, there we go. I don't think I want a stronger monster than that last one. Feels a little weird to have 3 beat the record, but it's what it is. Now, if you don't mind, I'm not sure. I think I'm done for now, but if you all want to stick around, let me see who else is on Twitch and see if we can give them a friendly raid.